Hello, my name is Russell Clevenger, and I'm a member of Team Patrick. This is my Milestone 1 sprint review. I had tasks as a player. I would like to start in an area with more interesting level design to break up the level's layout. As a player, I want to have more obstacles between the NPCs and the end goal of the catacombs to break the level up into more interesting design. And then as a player, I'd like to see 3 different phases for each boss fight. Increase the difficulty of the boss and to change the fight with every shift. Okay, so we have the credit scene, which is going to have the art team added to it along with the software that they're using. We're going to have the level layout. It's going to have all 4 levels that we're working on. And then the start game. The start game starts at Firelink Shrine, which is basically the starting hub of the game. You have a tutorials area, New Linda Ruins, the Undead Asylum, and then the Catacombs. So I'll go ahead and run the Catacombs. Originally, the Catacombs was much larger, so I went ahead and broke it down into a smaller play area to get rid of some of the dead space. And for the demonstration, I went ahead and added weapons to the beginning here so I can show that you can change weapons throughout the level to whichever one you want. And it does not disable or delete any of the weapons or shields out of your inventory. The first thing you're going to see is the graveyard and 1 melee NPC. There's only 1 melee NPC because it's a little easier for you to fight him. And if you hit U, it'll fill your health up. If you go over this way, you're going to find a crypt. This crypt will have 1 ranged NPC to demonstrate the NPCs fighting for the starter of the level. And in the crypt, there's nothing added to it at this point. It is just an empty crypt, but it can be expanded upon in the future. I added barriers to the level to funnel people towards the objective so that they can't run around aimlessly in an area that doesn't have any objectives. So all around this has a blocker. So here's the entrance to the catacombs. The catacombs is all underground. You're gonna see 2 melee characters at the beginning. Once you kill them, you can move on to the next area, which is going to have a bunch of pillars and kind of some interesting design to it. You're going to run into a couple NPCs. I'm going to have to heal up. So the S is flask. You press U to fill, just like in the game. And then down in here is another tomb. There's nothing in here at this point. There's probably going to be a chest eventually. Here's a ranged NPC that will fight you anywhere that you go. He'll follow you. I'm going to skip the rest of the NPCs to make this a quicker video. But we have another NPC in here. And then this is the room right before the boss. You're going to have a couple ranged NPCs, which I'm going to skip as well. They're going to follow me into the boss's room eventually anyway. Alright, so here's the boss. You're going to have a healer and the boss. You want to kill the healer first, but I'll demonstrate why. Alright, so once the boss gets to a specific level of health, he will be healed by the healer. Alright, so he just started phase 2 of the boss fight. I went ahead and killed him. Okay, so we have Ranged NPCs that pop up during phase 2 to kind of give more difficulty to the boss fight. And then once you get the boss down to under to where he's at 33% health, he'll go into phase 3, which is another melee phase at this point, but can be blocked out for a different phase in the future. So maybe he'll have magic or something like that. Alright, now that the boss is dead, I can leave this area. Alright, and that is the end of my sprint review. I added placeholders such as walls and other objects to break up the level's layout. I added a tutorial area to the Firelink Shrine instead of New Lundo. We added entrances for each level that can be entered at the beginning of the game. Changed the layout of Firelink Shrine to be the hub for the starting area. We added placeholder objects or placeholder obstacles to the current level to increase the difficulty of traversing the terrain. Added placeholder items within the catacombs to add more interesting level design choices. Added details to the boss area to give a more interesting boss fight. We added barriers to keep players from exiting the play area. Added a different fight mode for each phase shift. Changed the boss's appearance with every phase shift. Changed the weapons to match the boss's fighting style, and added weapons to the boss character that indicates which mode that he is fighting in. Alright, that is the end of my sprint review. I appreciate you watching my video. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Isaiah Gui. This is the first task. As a player, I want to view tutorials so that I may know how to play the game. Player completion criteria. Player can walk through the tutorial from Firelink Shrine. Tutorials will display on screen when player enters the volume and disappear after a few seconds. Open area at spawn is filled with structures for player to practice tutorials. Subtasks tutorials are removed from New Lundo ruins and added to Firelink Shrine. Tutorials are arranged in an enclosed space before players able to travel to another area. Structures are made large enough for player to practice movement tutorials, and travel transitions are placed further from where the player spawns. Wrong one. So this is the area for tutorials. It's placed separate from the main area and has assets from our art team. Lap there for a second. Originally, the area had transitions right close to the spawn, so the player could easily walk into them by accident. But now they're separated thanks to Russell. And then, yeah, they were in Yolanda. Our second task is, as a player, I want to traverse a newly modified undead asylum and New Lundo ruins so that I may reach Firelink Shrine. This was mainly for adding the artist assets into the level. Uh, for undead asylum, there are inaccessible cells, open cells, and cell room sizes are adjusted. Let's go to, oops, go through the game first. Let me go here. So the artists were able to give us cells and cells doors, as long as the walls and floors, as long as with the doorway. Stairs were also added as well. Uh, Connect adjacent cells on first and second floor. Before there was like only three, but now there's multiple. There were no doorways before. Introduce enemy NPCs to player with increasing quantities, and they rearrange the current ones. Expand the length of the building so the end transitions further from where the player starts. And New Lundo ruin level assets have artists created swapped in. Run out here, past these guys, get into the trigger, and go back to Firelink Shrine. And we can head to New Lundo. This was a bridge created from our artist team. Also braziers. My computer feels skippy right now. I don't know why. I was able to swap out the original ugly wooden rafts with little pedestals that the player can actually jump onto. They froze. Right click it died. There are broken walls along with our windows. One of the columns. I only use that as a make it look like it's supporting the building. They're not attacking. Everything's fine until you need to use it. Uh, Next task. This was the dodging. I got two of them done, but I didn't finish it because I couldn't get it to work properly. The last thing I did complete was a bug for New Londo. Enemies in a side room before the boss room do not move around as they should. They get stuck near obstacles, and for that I remade the entire room. It was that room right there. It was a complete separate room that just has a chest in it.